And with that, Matt, we've covered all the patch 10.2 things.
Incredible.
So, we do have...
Have we? Oh my goodness.
Technically...
I have to stop you because we did miss one. You can't count apparently. 10.2 data mining has revealed an awful amount of extremely cool things, and we're going to show them all to you right now. More will be found later, and we'll show them to you next week.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, damn, you've clickbaited me into this segment.
Too much new stuff. Ah! Sylvanas and Lugage Transmog sets. Yo, what's this? There's Big Loggy himself, otherwise known as Varian Rin.
Oh, yeah, don't you meet Goldrin?
Yeah, you meet...
Yeah, because I just remember you pasting the things that Goldrin says, and you're just, I don't know what you said, but the implication was that Goldrin's rather vicious, and
he's Goldrin,
they haven't
right?
basically they haven't defanged him, because I think we know it's truly all over if we go and like Goldrin is talking about peace, kindness, and forgiveness and cuddles.
Yeah, Goldrin's the one that basically. He's the wolf, right? He's the wolf that was Logosh. He's the wolf that was so unbelievably crazy that, like, the entirety of the Worgen stuff, everything around that came out. The pack form that the Druids tried to do was the wolf form, and they could never actually control it because it was literally too insane for them. And then because they posted about it on Twitter. As a senior game designer, Sarah Cotner wrote the dialogue for Goldrin, and one of the bits there's a couple cool things, and I'm a big fan of dialogue that's really like super serious, super sincere. I am the verb of noun, whatever, from I'm not sure how many people will get the reference, and it sounds like it's something that is not, but like, I am the bone of my sword, like that lives in my head rent free, always will, forever, from now to the end of time. I am the bone of my sword. So this dude, Goldrin dude, where did it go? There it was. Just one line out of all of his thing was like, I am the briefest, brightest moments before your death in the battlefield. And I was just like, yes. But then I really like character dialogue that feels super... My Scars is pretty good too. Yes, like, I very much like the like... People haven't decided on a term for it yet, but they usually call them battle sexual or combat sexual people. And obviously in FF14, you're going to know Xenos. It's people who really... They seem to live for the thrill of battle. And I think that's extremely cool. Yeah, I can't remember all of Unlimited Blade Works either. It's been a long time since I read that. But it's... No, I'm trying to remember. No. Goldrin's cool, basically. And all of the wild gods that you see are really cool and really like evocative and thematic, and they super represent what they are in 10.2. And that was what it called? That was a tangent. That was a sidebar. Because we're talking about Logosh today and his item, and I can't remember what this was called, but it's like it's Charlemagne, but it's like a insane version of Charlemagne, Savage Charlemagne or something like that. Oh, it's actually here. Yeah, this is Goldrin's dialogue. I am the fangs of rage, the ferocity of a cornered beast, the starving hunter on a blood scent. I am the briefest, brightest moments before your death in the battlefield, the strength that only comes from insurmountable odds, a ghost of a god known by many. For rage and fury, do not discriminate. Very Kratos. Very good.
Yeah.
And Konzu, obviously, I am the harbinger of change. I am the reaper of consequence. I serve the unending flow of life, and I am the victim of its stagnation. That shit gets me all the time.
It's actually pretty hard.
Yeah, it's really cool.
This is could have been a lot more cuddly. I'm very happy it's not cuddly. They've remembered. Yeah.
Yeah, I did miss saying ooh at the end. And also, yes, it is edgy. Yes.
Oh, it's gotta be edgy, though. How could it not be?
Yeah.
I am my scars.
Edgelord stuff is cool, basically. I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Damn. There you go. Matt is a Reaper stan.
Not really, but yeah. Obviously, then Sylvanas as well.
Now, this is a very major update to the midriff conversation from earlier.
It is, because this is the Sylvanas, and everyone was upset whenever Sylvanas had the new outfit that covered her up more. And obviously, you can read into that and go, well, that's a bit weird. And, but I think
everyone's thinking, yes, of course, perfect. One quick slice to the belly and you're dead.
Yeah, so anyone who sits and goes in a fantasy game goes, well, that armor's not very realistic. It goes, shut up. It has to be rule of cool everything.
It depends
And
what
it's
the
like, it's
fantasy
cool.
is, and
Yeah.
for this one, you know what? Clearly, people like it. Give the people what they want, and I think there's this like perception from way back in the day that it's like, oh, it's only a pervy gamer man. No, from what I can tell so far, it's like mostly women who wear those mogs
It's
than men.
definitely not mostly women.
Not mostly, but like
it's like people,
basically they want it too.
yeah, people had a really weird sexist attitude in the past. It was like, oh well, that's an attractive woman. Well, that's only for men. That's only for the male gaze. And then everyone ignored all the women going, but I actually like when my character wears that because it makes me feel good. And you're like, what
It's
the
like
fuck?
the whole Bayonetta thing.
I was actually just about to say, it's people going, Bayonetta, this is so unbelievably sexist. It's disgusting. I can't believe the game industry's doing this. And everyone goes, Bayonetta's character designer is a woman who continually posts about how she's like, I made Bayonetta to be the sexiest thing I could possibly think of. And everyone goes, good job. You succeeded. Well done. And everyone's like, no one has an issue with this except people who have, I'm not going to say anything more. But there you go. Sylvanas' outfit. You're going to get it. And it's going to have exposed skin. You're going to get it at some point. And you'll be able to wear it on a dude as well.
What does this mean for fruit, though?
This means that all the trans...
Fruit surplus in World of Warcraft now no longer needed to cover up skimpy things the people of Azeroth can eat.
Yeah.
Do you remember the way they replaced everything with fruit?
Yeah, the transfiguration.
Everything with fruit? That's a little bit much.
Yeah. The transfiguration of exposed skin to fruit has been reversed.
Incredible.
Even for this slutty motherfucker, like.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, where these come from, we have no idea. They could be virtual ticket items. They could be trading post rewards. Could be an Alliance Horde split of trading post reward. Because you wouldn't want a lot of people would, but generally you'd think if a Void Elf was walking around or a Night Elf was walking around Sylvanas outfit, you go, eh. But if you saw, an Orc running around it, you'd be like, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Elves! We've got new things. We've got Night Elf and Blood Elf tabards plus cloaks.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. We do have Darnassian Moon Silver Spalders. Man, elves just look good. And speaking of elves, so that's really nice. But speaking of elves looking good, we also have a very nice backpack. Now,
Yes.
Blizzard. Never mind. You can't make that in real life for people. It wouldn't work.
What?
If you made this in real life for people as a piece of merchandise, it would have the strange problem of being the wrong art style for the game of life, and it would look quite confusing. Because the only way to do this in a way that people would buy it, it would look like a cosplay prop, but who knows?
You're too conservative for that. Would you wear a cool ass cosplay prop backpack every went? I think most people go,
There you go.
yeah. Unless you're a card, it's like, no, what if I look weird outside? Then
Oh no, not outside with the outside people.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What else have we got?
Lots, because there's a troll set based on Kragwa. There's Tenaris Wasteland stuff, which is one of the things I was alluding to earlier when I was saying Giberturn talking about a lot of weird mechanical-y stuff kind of showing up with no real reason for it to be.
Theme
Which
month
means
of the
we're-
trading
we're-
post.
Yeah, that. Or Mad Max expansion.
I wonder which one it will be. Ha!
Yep.
There's the Dreadlord's Regalia.
Holy shit.
Look like a Dreadlord.
Oh, no, you can't have Jaina's hair in game yet, damn.
Druids of the Flame
Yeah.
set. Hey.
Yeah, there's the rep for Druid of the Flame, and I can definitely see there being
Like a secret.
I can definitely see there being a Druid of the Flame rep added slightly later, because they are at the minute, like, there's Druids of the Flame that are turncoats, basically.
2.5.
Possibly. There's Druids of the Flame that are turncoats, and might just be implemented later, and you do quests for them and stuff, and they actually are part of the faction Druids of the Flame, so they're sitting in like the town and stuff, but they have a yellow name because they're part of the faction. So I'm assuming you do build it up and actually get the set, and the set looks really damn good, really pretty, and a whole bunch of just other stuff as well here. We had like Plate Crusader helmets, Wildhammer stuff, Trophy Hunter stuff, a ball necklace, Cenarian stuff.
Man, I
Some
mean,
Blood Elf.
clearly this is pointing towards all the things that we're going to get as a part of a full revamp of Azeroth, as a complete expansion.
Exactly.
Isn't that right?
That's
to
100%.
celebrate the 30th anniversary of the franchise, to celebrate the 29th birthday. I mean, actually, Matt, to celebrate our birthday. No.
What?
No, my birthday. Not your birthday, because you're a year older than me. Shit.
Yeah.
A while ago, it's actually, I ad-libbed it into the video because I realized that I'm the same age as World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm the same age as the Warcraft franchise, being 29. And in 2024, it'll turn 30. And I will too, and that's worrying. It's very worrying.
Yeah, you were fated with this game, unfortunately. And you
Oh, no, that's really good.
drag the rest of us down.
No,
with
it's
you.
just like, it's like in Deus, that television show. And if I
Devs?
call it, no, see, now if I say it's going to be a spoiler. Okay, basically, if it was fated, then we're in a deterministic universe. And it's not my fault. Therefore, I can live with it.
See,
Watch Devs, by the way. It's a really good show.
I belong to the I don't think about that very much because their answer sucks.
Oh, yeah, it's like I heard Sam Harris talk for a bit of his, like, you know, I suppose he's definitely a bit more close to determinism and the topic of free will. But then, like, whoever he was talking to just said, do you tell that to your children? And he's like, no, I'm not going to tell my children that. Could you imagine how sad it would make my children? I thought that was great. I think it's like, there you go. You fucking wrapped up the whole experience there, big man.
Yeah, just don't think about that at all because it literally is not helpful unless you like thinking about it and it's interesting. But don't think about it.
Yeah, and at the very least, if you are strapped into a roller coaster that you can't change, I suppose enjoy it.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
My roller coaster is definitely in a couple of loops. I'm like, let's go.
And now, of course, Swatch Group, known for doing their collaborations, we now have the Dream Swatch in World of Warcraft. This is definitely not Emerald Dream related. Now, that said,
This makes me think of the story of the ex-Kanojo writer who had got their manga adapted into a load of anime adaptations over a load of stuff, then released a new... Is it a novel or manga? I can't remember. I think it was manga. About someone who had 4 anime adaptations, made a load of money, but then got into 500 million yen of debt. Sorry, 50 million yen of debt buying designer watches. And then everyone went, that sounds like you are in 50 million yen of debt and are writing a book in order to try and pay some of that off. And then it was like, that's literally what happened. Someone was like, this awful thing happened to me. What do? I'll write a manga about it and make some money back.
done.
And then everyone immediately looked at all the watches he drew in the manga and went, these are worth millions. What are you doing?
Now, you know, a lot of people would say a wristwatch in World of Warcraft, that's ridiculous. Number 1, goblins and gnomes. Number 2, horology is fascinating, and I can't believe that it's time to do this, but Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, the Dial of Destiny is not bloody real. However,
Some dials are.
there's really, I forget the name of the device, but I was like found in a shipwreck. I was like, you know, clearly like a Greek situation, right? Like, you know, this is in the BCs. But what was cool about it is like whenever people were analyzing the various different cogs and shit, and it was basically like, you know, working out like, you know, where the sun is and all that shit. But they had like, you know, modified the complication because of course they thought that the sun orbited around the earth at that stage, which it doesn't. But they had like accounted for that in their little adjustments that they'd done. But just the point that like horology goes back that far. So the idea of a wristwatch in World of Warcraft, as much as we may think that's crazy and goofy, not really. And one of the funky things, and again, I'm sure there's more archaeology to be done and more things to be found, but at least like one group who like analyzed the like cogs in that thing, they looked at it and were like, dude, this was mass manufactured. Because if it was just made by like one dickhead trying shit out, there would be like tool marks and stuff. But like upon their analysis, they're like, nope, this was mass made. It's made too well, too precise. So yeah, there you go. Horology, pretty cool. And now you can have a wristwatch in World of Warcraft. And the best thing is, this is an entire new sphere of microtransactions for World of Warcraft. Now we can have World of Warcraft X. And if it was to be anybody in Watch, people will know it would be Hublot. Just to make people extra angry, Bobby would go for it. They're basically seen as being like they don't deserve their street cred. Hublot don't deserve their like style or any of that shit. Generally they're quite hated by Watch people, and that is why the Bobby Kotick game doing that would be funny and make sense. Anyway, wristwatches in World of Warcraft. Wow, incredible.
Just reminded me how much I want, because very slight sidebar. Blizzard really need to do way cooler merch. Yep. And they could do really high-end merch that's actually genuinely cool. And like they do a little bit of that stuff like kind of recently, but they could really do stuff that's very, very cool. There's a complete untapped market of insane jewelry
like
and stuff.
Hamilton is a legendary, I think, like American watch brand. Blizzard X Hamilton. Why don't you try it?
See, the one I was
If you want to be a bit more commodity, go for like Swatch. Swatch do collabs all the time.
Yeah.
Timex. I think Timex they do peanuts. If I remember correctly.
The one I was thinking of is
plenty, but there's FF.
There's Citizen, and they do a lot. They do a lot of stuff. They have like a Star Wars collection stuff as well.
And Citizen are like, it's, you know, I think it's important, like, okay, if you're buying a watch, don't buy a watch from a fashion brand, because they're usually overpriced shite. And definitely don't buy a watch from like Movement or any of those weird, e-commerce brands. You know, like your Timexes and your Citizens and stuff. It's like, you'll get better bang for your buck there. And yeah, it was like FF who like did the thing with Citizen. And if it is like with a brand like, you know, like Citizen or Timex, or, you know, even if they're like a lower end watch brand or a medium end watch brand, like the point is, you can be like happy with the collaboration and also happy with the watch that you'll get, because there's always this, like worry with merch that it's like a really shitty, shameless cash in where you're just getting rinsed. Yes. You know, and it's like, yes, Blizzard have got an Alibaba watch and put Varian Rin on it, which would suck.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, you're right about merch.
Yeah.
Give us the license, Blizzard. We'll make cool merch for you.
We're not a watchmaker or jewelry maker. It's weird. I think they're generally doing stuff like that, or doing, who is it? It's surprisingly Pokemon Company. Their clothes are fucking
You seen the shirts?
sick. Yeah, they're so good.
Now, those Pokemon shirts are friggin' eye-wateringly expensive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of customization, but like they are pretty sick. And I suppose I won't be angry at them for the price tag, purely because the levels of customization certainly mean that there's going to be a higher unit volume. But yeah, it's like Warcraft is a really good brand, and they could totally muscle in there and do something. I think Blizzard have always went just too much on the side of like put a logo on something, you know, and that's like, you know, fine, but I don't know. I think they could do more. It could be a really good line of business for them, in the same way that like, some people they spend a lot of money on FF14 merch. Like Square Enix are good. They're good at doing that shit.
Their store handling's been a bit weaker recently since they swapped over who actually handles that.
Really?
The back end store.
That's like when Blizzard went to Fanatics, and then Fanatics shat the bed, and then Blizzard went away from Fanatics.
Yeah, so it's not as bad, but they have like, it's just the fact that they constantly have like 120, 150, 180 like dollar or pound like jewelry pieces that are just, we've made the jewelry from the character in the game, and it's basically perfect and it's really good and you want it. And I've not bought any of it because I'm, what's the term? Reasonably financially responsible. But
so Matt, where are you going at the end of the year?
I'm going to Japan for 2 weeks.
And how financially responsible will all of your merch buying decisions be?
It will not have nothing to do with finance. It'll entirely be to do with physical space. And also shut up, because the yen's crashed like crazy, so I'm a rich man. So
Yo!
Yeah.
Oh, has it crashed?
It's been slowly crashing for a long time, basically.
See, I'm pretty sure that's actually good for Japanese exports and some of their economy, because you're the way Japanese companies are always in super depressed cope mode whenever the yen is strong.
Yeah, if it drives sales and stuff, yeah. So the yen is extremely low, and it's getting lower and lower and lower, which means I have all of like my spending money saved.
Normal humans can afford to spend their money at the profoundly 3 out of 5 Square Enix cafe that everyone has to visit out of obligation.
Exactly. So I'm just sat,
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm sat there going, just waiting for it to stop crashing, and I'll just turn all my money into yen and go and be rich man.
But is a Japanese pizza still like double the price of one here?
No.
Really? Wow.
No, I mean, maybe in like the heart of Tokyo, but
I know
generally,
it's like almost a meme that like Domino's in Japan is like a total rip-off compared to here, and it's a rip-off here.
yeah, compared to how the prices have risen here, probably actually better, especially after the exchange rate being fun. Turns out you can just wait for money to not make any sense and in your favor, and it's very smart. It's very smart and very cool, and I definitely thought of that. And my accommodation was so cheap, I literally laughed out loud.
Yeah, that's true.
I physically laughed because it was £550
That's it.
for 2 weeks in Japan.
That's insane.
That's like
It's certainly
people pay more for rent.
It is Spartan.
Yeah, it's not super fancy, like, but
But I suppose you've got a floor, you've got a mat to sleep on,
yeah. What else do you need? Like,
and you're already mat.
yeah, I'm not going to be
2 mats.
Yeah, it's going to be outside. Like,
Yeah. Man,
I never got, like, I can see if you're going for like a resort stay or something. I can kind of see that where you're going to stay in the hotel and that's like your holiday. But it's like if you're going to a place, like, why do you need to be in anything more than a shithole that you can comfortably sleep in? If it does it have decent running water? Does it not make you upset? And can you sleep fine? Fine.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're in the heart of Shibuya.
No. Akiba. Of course. Of course I'm in Weed Mecca.
Of course you're in weed.
Of course that's where I am. Yes.
You're going to play so many rhythm games.
And a couple different seconds.
That's actually the problem you're going to have. You're going to have all these rich cultural experiences you're going to want, and you'll just actually play rhythm games, blink, the holiday will be over.
Exactly.
Very brutal. Now, speaking of that, Matt, did you know that there's an updated Quell Sarar in World of Warcraft? Yeah. Of course, this was a legendary weapon from the game's past, one that I remember fondly because I got it the old-fashioned way. Basically, this, was the Battered Hilt, that was it. The Battered Hilt, this would drop from enemies in the Ice Crown trio of dungeons that they added in patch 3.3. Now, what was cool is you could get the Battered Hilt and you could put it in the auction house, right? You could make a whole bunch of money. Or you could just use it. And I think I actually earned money and bought it off the AH. But that then took you on a whole quest line that, like, it was really cool as a narrative quest line. You know, you're doing all your different steps. You're going to the fucking Sunwell and shit. It was really cool. So there is an updated Quell Solar. It looks sweet. Look at all the different color variations.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Amazing too.
GG. There's also Thunder Bows. Pretty cool.
Really good effect. I saw it earlier.
Yeah. Reminds me of that Indian movie we're going to watch in IMAX.
Oh, yeah.
You know the bit where the man does the thing and then the thunder goes behind him and you're like, ah!
Yeah, that's good.
India, you make amazing movies and all of ours are mid as fuck.
Where do you get all these? No idea. These literally just data mine. So.
Scarab Shield. So obviously this means that Anchorage is also being revamped as a part of the massive Azeroth revamp. 100 million % the case. Definitely not something that's going to be part of the trading post. Also coming with that, and again,
some vanilla robes
Keyboard Turn did an absolute, as she always does, absolute beast mode data mining over on Twitter. We got these Scarab Robes as well. I think this is part of the Scarab mount and shield, indicates they're possibly a bundle together for the Call of the Scarab event.
Yeah, definitely.
Yo! Oh, okay, that's actually really cool. So in Legion, because Legion was a fascinating time, and you really have to wonder what happened, you know, as time went on, because in Legion, they hit their 77, every 77 days as a patch. That's also when they started talking about doing micro holidays. They kind of stopped adding micro holidays after Legion, but there are these cool little things like the Call of the Hippogriff. Right now, they're either relevant because they're a cool random thing to do in the world for a reason, I guess, and a feat of strength or something. But now they're rewarded, or you get rewarded with is it Adventure Journal points, Traveler's Journal points towards your Trader's Tender, right? But if these actually had things to get, then whenever imagine it's Call of the Scarab weekend to commemorate that pretty incredible event. If you haven't, recommend watching the Barney series and that. Imagine you just go get a thing. Get a cool shield, get a mount, get this cool dress. Fantastic. And you know, it's like obvious evergreen content. You know, I remember it was on the strength of the Final Fantasy. We did a video back when we ran the Yellow channel. Yeah, it's funny. We don't even call it by its name anymore. We just call it the Yellow channel because it was just that thing of like the boys, they reached too far and they hurt themselves. Yeah. I actually had a lot of fun playing games for that channel, but I also realized if I continue this, I'm going to hate the entire hobby and never want to do it again because I'm burnt out. So that's why we killed that channel because we wanted to be sane and reasonable.
And then I failed doing that entirely, but yes.
Yeah, then you went insane and got very strong. So, I mean, I think it went pretty well. But yeah, we were talking about the strength of the events and how, like, as a new coming player, that their events were so good was, like, really, really strong. And WoW's events, like, many of them are actually quite good, but they're very dated. So if they're actually adding in those holiday events to the mix, then, hey, that's really cool. Also, sarongs. Is that like a type of dress that I'm not aware of?
Yes.
They look cool.
Yes.
Yeah, they look really cool.
That's literally what it is. It's a type of dress you're not aware of.
Perfect. Well, we'll get them somehow, maybe. Yep. Of course, these could all just be Trader's Tender.
Yeah.
Which, like, it wouldn't be the worst thing, you know, because these probably be cheap. Yeah, anyway, new mounts, Dream Stags.
Yep.
These look cool.
The Druid forms, but you mount them.
The animations that they had, you know, the sort of jump and kick back, really strong animations. And that's the thing. World of Warcraft is one of those games, and it's such a challenging problem. It's one of those games that some of those animations are incredible. Like, they're really good. But the perspective at which you play the game means you very rarely appreciate them. You know, I still remember this happened. It's a video that I did early. It was 2016. It was in around Legion. A video I did getting the dynamic cam add-on and console port, and putting those together, right, and having just a World of Warcraft that had I suppose, camera angle and all of that, more reminiscent of a modern action RPG. And it was just like even playing the Demon Hunter on the gamepad. And I suppose it would work even better now with action targeting, just in a way where you can like actually appreciate those animations. Because at that very same time, Blizzard started implementing squash and stretch with their 3D models. Now, a lot of you guys, if you're not like into animation or whatever, you maybe won't have came across squash and stretch. It did lead to some absolutely boneheaded takes from people where they were like, oh my god, I freeze framed this animation and this person's arm was really long. And so, yeah, it's called squash and stretch. It's one of the most fundamental bits of doing good animation because some things are designed to be seen at motion, such as myself. That's what I tell myself every time someone takes a photograph of me and I feel very self-conscious. Say, Michael, it's okay. You're fine in motion. That photograph was just one of your smear frames, and that's why you look absurd.
That's really funny. You just go around calling people smear frames, like. That's a good.
Oh, dude, I'm a total smear frame.
Fucking smear frame.
There's never been a good photo of me ever taken. But anyway, I mean, it's a bit rambling, but my point is, their animators actually do really, really good work so much of the time, and you kind of just don't see it, which is a funny little thing. But anyway, so those have really nice animations. We've got new Dream Sabers, of course, which, once again, those kind of look like the Druid forms. Also...
Kind of look like they are with saddles.
Yeah, they are. Well, doubly so for the Raptor Cat. I don't know why I said doubly, but yeah, look at these mountable Raptor Cats. I mean, this is just dope. Very into this. Now, did you know that Chris Mattson's back? Azeroth Choppers 2. Fell motorcycles.
Beautiful.
Yeah, rock, flag, and eagle.
Vroom, vroom, motherfucker.
So enjoy those. There's also Scarab mounts. Maybe these will be the Call of the Scarab event. Looking pretty sweet.
The Golden Scarab is very pretty.
Yeah.
That's so much stuff. And it's like, this happens every single time. There's so much asset creation going on in this game. It's unbelievable every time you get a major patch.
And that's one of the things. Even the amount of game projects that I've seen that have utterly scuffed, like in the actual game bit, the thing that's far more easy to scale is a larger content pipeline.
Yeah.
It's way easier to scale asset creation than it is content implementation or engineering. And I think Blizzard kind of realized that. Maybe with the trading post and some other things where it's like, yeah, there are some things, just takes ages to do them. But like at least when it comes to like models and stuff, they've clearly staffed up their teams. Even if you look at the outdoor sets that we get nowadays in game, those are the equivalent of a raid tier in Shadowlands and BFA.
Yeah, like this is rig gear, like easy.
Yeah.
Easy rig gear quality. Easy.
In the past 2 expansions, these would have been the full thing that you get.
If you're lucky.
In a raid.
If you're lucky, like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, where, of course, the non-mythic versions look shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it would have been. So, yeah.
This would have been mythic old deer.
We're eating...
Yeah,
we're eating a lot better.
Sure.